Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget friendly, and delicious. So if you're looking for some weeknight meal ideas for your family, just keep watching. First up, I tried a new recipe for lamb chops with a mustard thyme sauce. This recipe and any other recipes from today's video will be linked in the description box below for you. And a quick disclaimer, I do apologize about my voice. I know I'm a little hoarse. This crazy weather and then, this stuff everything's starting to bloom has got my sinuses and allergies going. So I do apologize about that. But to get started, we're going to marinate the lamb chops. Here's everything I'm going to use for that. First up, I've got the lamb chops. These were on sale last week at Food Line, and I've been craving lamb, so I grabbed them when they were on sale. I've got some extra virgin olive oil, minced garlic, sea salt, pepper, lemon, fresh thyme, and parsley. And then this little silver container, this is some rosemary sea salt. This is not required for this recipe, but I had just a little bit of this and I wanted to use it up, and I thought that would pair well with the flavors. So I just mixed up the marinade, added that with the lamb chops to a Ziploc bag, and you want to let this sit out at room temperature for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're going to cook up the lamb. I've got some olive oil in this skillet. This is on medium heat. Once it was hot, I cooked the lamb. The recipe suggests about 4 minutes per side for medium lamb. How long you cook this really just depends on how well you like your lamb. If you like it more well done, of course, you want to add a little bit to the cooking time. So once the lamb is cooked, I'm going to remove it from the skillet, set it to a plate, cover it with foil to keep it warm, and then we're going to make the sauce. Now I'm going to deglaze the pan. I've got some of this Sauvignon Blanc. This is 0 proof, so it's non-alcoholic. That's just personal preference. You can, of course, use, regular wine, or you could also use chicken stock if you prefer to do that. I'm going to add in some minced garlic, followed by Dijon mustard. Give that a really good whisk until it's well combined. I'm going to add in the fresh thyme, give that another whisk, and then you're going to bring this to a boil and then reduce the sauce to a simmer and simmer it for a couple minutes until it thickens. Next, I'm adding in some heavy whipping cream. The recipe says that this is optional, but it does suggest adding it, and I agree, unless you just really, really love mustard. This is very strong, so I feel like the cream kind of mellows it out a little bit. I added the cream and then gave it a stir and just simmered it on like low medium heat until it was warmed through. I did taste it and I did feel like the mustard was just a little bit too pronounced for my particular liking, so I added in just the tiniest pinch of sugar, and then I was happy with the sauce. So I'm going to add the lamb back in, kind of give it a little toss in the sauce, that rhymed, and then that's it. The lamb is ready to serve. For one of the sides, I decided to make Miss Ina Garten's peas and pancetta. In this skillet here, I've got a little bit of butter. Once the butter was melted, I added in some thinly sliced shallots. And then I got this pancetta. It's already diced up. I got this on sale like a week or two ago at Kroger. It was like $1.49 or $2.49 a package. Awesome deal. So I stirred the pancetta in with the shallots and allowed that to cook for about 5 to 7 minutes or so until the pancetta is brown and the shallots are tender. Next, I'm going to add in some frozen peas as well as some salt and pepper. Give that a stir, and then you want to cook this for about 4 or 5 minutes or so until the peas are completely warmed through, and that's it. That's ready to serve up. And then for the other side, I found these Parmesan petite potatoes at Kroger. I'm going to cook those in the microwave according to the package instructions, and these little potatoes were good. All right, here are the plates. So we've got some of the lamb chops with that mustard thyme sauce, the peas and pancetta, and the potatoes. This dinner was so delicious. Perfect for springtime, had all the springtime flavors, and it was so good. The next day was Sunday, and it was my mom's birthday, so we went over to their house and had a Sunday dinner to celebrate. She asked for my dad's pot roast, so he cooked up the pot roast with potatoes with the roast. I made some yeast rolls. I don't think I've ever made just like plain homemade yeast rolls before. I know I've done potato rolls, but I used the recipe from Kristen's Step. I'll link that down below, and I will eventually share it with you guys. I didn't this time because we had so much going on trying to get ready for Mom's party and everything that I didn't have time to film it, but I'll get that film. These rolls were delicious. So good. The birthday girl also requested mashed Yukon Gold potatoes. My sister made those. And then my mom requested my dad's brown gravy, so he made that. And then my mom requested green beans cooked in bacon grease, so my sister made those. And here is my plate. I've got some of the roast, the carrots, the potatoes, the green beans, the rolls. I also made a Copycat, like Texas Roadhouse butter for the rolls. Oh, so good. And then for her birthday cake, my mom requested I can't remember what it's called, but it's a chocolate cake with strawberries on top from Publix. She's requested that a few times over the year, and that cake is so good. All of the cakes that we've had from Publix Bakery has actually been really good, and they're pretty affordable. So if you're looking for a good birthday cake, I would suggest you checking out Publix Bakery if you've got one near you. But anyway, that was my mom's birthday dinner. Everything was really delicious. Dinner the next night was off a meal plan, but I had a few things in the fridge that I wanted to use up, so I decided to do a crawfish macaroni and cheese. I did not follow a specific recipe for this. I did look on Pinterest at several different recipes, to kind of see what people were adding, and I kind of came up with my own thing. So in this skillet here, this is on medium heat. I've got some butter melting. I'm going to take the rest of that pancetta from the peas and pancetta and add that. You could just use bacon, if you want to do that, but like I said, trying to use this up, give that a stir, and then I'm going to take these leftover onions and bell peppers. This was leftover from when I did the like crab stuffed tilapia for our Mardi Gras little celebration. I'm going to give that a stir, and then I cooked that for about 5 minutes until the veggies were tender. Now I'm going to just make basically a bechamel sauce. Just if you've ever made homemade macaroni and cheese, that's what we're doing. I'm going to add some flour, whisk that together, cook that for a minute or two until that flour taste is gone. And then I have some evaporated milk. I didn't have a lot of like regular milk on hand, so I decided to use the evaporated. I'm going to slowly whisk that together, and I did end up adding just some plain milk to kind of thin it out a little bit. Now for the cheese, you can use whatever cheese you want. Add some of the Sargento like Colby Jack stick cheese that I needed to use up, so I chopped that up. I had some sliced Gouda cheese, so I gave that a rough chop, and then I had just a little bit of this package of shredded mozzarella and provolone. So I'm adding that, giving that a stir, and then as far as seasonings go, really use whatever seasonings you like. I'm going to do some essence of emerald, some paprika. You could also do smoked paprika. That's really good in like homemade baked macaroni and cheese. I'm going to do some garlic powder, a little bit of ground mustard, and then some Slap Ya Mama or whatever Cajun Creole seasonings you want to use. I'm going to give that a really good stir. I did add a little bit of milk, like I said, to thin it out. And then once all the cheese is melted, you are good to go. I'm going to push that to the side. Here I've got some elbow macaroni. I just cooked it according to the package instructions, drained it. I'm going to add in my sauce, and we like our like baked homemade macaroni and cheese really cheesy. You can reduce the amount of sauce if you want to. I've got these leftover crawfish tails. This is half a pound of frozen crawfish tails that I thawed and drained really well. I'm going to give that a good mix and then place that into a greased casserole dish. I'm taking some Italian style breadcrumbs. I'm using Italian style just because that's what I've got on hand. You can use plain. I'm going to mix that with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, sprinkle that on top. And then I took some olive oil. This is in just a little spray container. Did a little spritz on top to help that brown up, and then place this into a preheated oven. This was at 350 degrees, and I just baked it for about 25 minutes until it was bubbling like this and those breadcrumbs were golden brown. Now, for this side, I had some green beans in the fridge I needed to use up. All I did was toss them with some olive oil, and then I seasoned them with some of the Kinder's buttery garlic seasoning, as well as some of the Badia Complete, and I just baked those along with the macaroni and cheese until the green beans were tender. And that Cajun crawfish mac and cheese, oh my gosh, y'all, it was so stinking delicious. It was so good. For dinner the next night, I made a Greek chicken and lemon rice. Here is everything we're going to use to marinate the chicken. I've got some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. You could, of course, use chicken breasts or chicken tenders. I've got olive oil, minced garlic, oregano, paprika, salt, pepper, and lemon. I cubed up the chicken and then mixed up the marinade. I combined both into a Ziploc bag. You can marinate this for about 20 minutes up to overnight. I did it for a couple hours. And then I skewered the chicken. I used metal skewers. If you use wood, you do want to make sure you soak them for at least 30 minutes before you cook them up. And then I used this little Cuisinart indoor grill to cook the chicken, but you can grill it on an outdoor grill or, bake it in the oven, cook it on top of the stove. However you want to cook it, just make sure you cook the chicken until it's at least 165 degrees internal temperature, and then I removed it from the skewers. Now, for the lemon rice, the recipe instructions tell you to cook this on top of the stove, which you can totally do, but I decided to cook it in the rice cooker. Here is all of the ingredients we're going to use. For the rice, recipe suggested using long grain. I grabbed jasmine, which of course is fine. For the chicken broth, I'm using some bouillon powder and water. I've got some lemon, butter, salt, and fresh parsley. And then, like I said, I decided to use the rice cooker. I basically just added everything to the rice cooker, gave it a little stir, popped the lid on, plugged it in, turned it to cook. And then once it was done and it flipped itself to warm, I unplugged the rice cooker and then just allowed it to sit for about 10 minutes with the lid on it. And then I fluffed the rice up with a fork. For this side, I made a Greek grilled asparagus salad. Here are the ingredients I'm going to use for the dressing. I've got some olive oil, salt and pepper, Dijon mustard, lemon, a shallot, and then for the herbs, I've got some parsley and dill. I combined these all for the dressing and checked the description box below for the exact measurements of each of these ingredients. So what I did was I tossed some asparagus with olive oil, a little salt and pepper, and then you can cook this on top of the stove if you want, but I had out the Cuisinart's little indoor grill already, so I just grilled the asparagus until it was tender and then allowed it to cool slightly, and then I just chopped it up into bite-sized pieces. To assemble the salad, I'm going to add the grilled, slightly cooled asparagus along with some crumbled feta cheese. I added some sliced green onions, a little bit of fresh dill, and some parsley. And then I whisked the vinaigrette up just one more time, gave that a toss, and then I felt like it was a little overdressed, but that was probably my fault because I didn't use as much asparagus as what the recipe called for. I decided to add in some arugula, and I'm glad I did. The arugula in this was so yummy. One final toss, and then the salad was ready. So to plate this up, I just laid down some of the rice, added the chicken, a little fresh parsley, and then we've got the salad. And for Gary's plate, again, the rice, the chicken, the salad, and then for his chicken, I added a little bit of feta cheese on top as well as some Kalamata olives. And then after I plated up my plate, I decided to add a little bit of the Good and Gather tzatziki salad dressing just to kind of dip my chicken in. And that was so good. I suggested it to Gary and he asked that I add some to his plate. Everything was so yummy. That salad is different than, anything I would normally make, especially with the fresh dill in it. But it was delicious and the chicken and rice was really good too. For dinner the next night, we just did leftovers. I believe we both had some of the leftover crawfish mac and cheese. For dinner the next night, I made taco pizza. I've made this for years. I don't even remember where I got the original recipe from, if you can even really call it that. It's not really a recipe, but it is quick and easy to put together, and it is a family favorite. It's delicious. So here I've got a crescent roll. This is the sheet dough, but you can use just the regular rolls. Just pinch the seams together. I baked it according to the package instructions until it was golden brown. I'm then going to take some refried beans. These are just canned. I warm them up with a little bit of water and some taco seasoning. I'm going to spread that out onto the crescent roll, quote unquote, crust. Next, for the taco meat, this is some ground turkey I cooked up with some onions, garlic, some taco seasoning, and then a little bit of water, and I just simmered that until it was done. I'm going to add the taco meat on top, and then I've got some shredded cheese. I'm going to add that. I popped this back into the oven and just baked it for maybe 3 minutes until that cheese was melted, and then that's it. You can add whatever toppings you like to this, whatever you like on tacos. This is great for, you know, the family. You can set everything out and everybody can kind of top their pizza how they want. We like shredded lettuce, diced tomatoes, some taco sauce, and sour cream, but you could add black olives, you could use onions, you could do cilantro, avocado, whatever you like. This is so yummy. For the last dinner in this week's video, I really did not feel like cooking, wanted something quick and easy, so raided the freezer and pantry, and this is what I came up with. I decided to do some Copycat McRibs. So I've got these banquet family size little boneless quote-unquote rib patties. I'm going to cook those in the microwave according to the package instructions. I've got some of these crinkle cut fries. I just cooked these up in the air fryer, and then I've got some leftover hot dog buns. Instructions on these rib patties are for oven or microwave. If you do it in the oven, which you totally can, it just takes almost an hour. But if you cook it in the microwave, it takes like 14 minutes. And I would recommend you using the Banquet. I've tried these using, what is it, the Orr brand or something like that. I would pass on those. Stick with the Banquet ones. And like I said, I cooked the crinkle fries in the air fryer, seasoned with some of the Steak and Shake fry seasoning. And then here are the plates. So to serve these up, I just take, I find on regular size hot dog buns, 1.5 of those boneless rib patties fit perfectly. So I do that and then add some of the sauce from the container. And then you can add sliced pickles and sliced onions like McDonald's does if you want to. I don't like pickles or onions. Gary likes pickles. And then we've got the fries. Quick and easy, yummy little dinner. All right, that is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. You got some dinner ideas from it. If you did like the video, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.